What I really love about walking is the adventure that is every day.
Being able to experience slowing down, both internally, mentally.
Every country, every place you go, you learn more about that place by walking.
Can hear the crunch on the ground and hear the birds tweeting. Walking, you feel a bit more connected to nature.
It gets us to remote places where nobody else can access unless they're walking.
I find it hard to say which walk I like the most of the walks we've done with Raw because they're all so different. Camino Frances is perhaps the most memorable for me. I had real doubts at the start I could do it. I was terrified about the crossing over the Pyrenees to start with, but then I gained confidence as I went along. By the time we walked right across Spain, so 1,000 kilometres, I just wanted to keep walking.
The great thing about going with a company like Raw is absolute fastidious preparation that they give you prior to the walk. And Sue and I are at the stage now where, in the past we've carried 20 kilo packs, etc. We don't want to do that anymore. We still want to do the same hikes and get that same buzz out of hiking. What we do want at the end is a comfortable bed, a beer or a wine and a nice meal. And Raw takes care of the whole thing.
Not having to carry our luggage, having that transferred for us and having that all really neatly arranged by Raw makes an enormous difference.
When you're a little bit younger and you sort of feel like you want to take on that sort of big challenge, it sort of appeals as something that you might like to do. But as you get a bit older, you realise that it's not something that you have to do. Getting Carolyn to come on this trip with me, this was one of the main things that was going to help to get us over the line.
One thing that stood out to me was almost without exception, the accommodation was of a very high standard, but friendly and warm. So my preference is to stay in a bed and breakfast, and most of the accommodation that we had was in that kind of setting.
They just seem to find the best places in the best spots in town, so it's blown us away really.
On the Le Puy Camino, the Raw Travel app was brilliant because it was very difficult to get off track, and that's a very common problem for people doing Caminos. They might find themselves kilometres down the road and they're trying to figure out where they are. Now with the Raw Travel app, it's unlikely to happen. Also, it has variants. So we were at a point on Le Puy Camino where there was a group of people walking. They're particularly loud and we didn't want to walk with them. Or being around them particularly. At the same moment, there was a variant on the app, and it looked like it was going to be a quieter thing. There's a little description as to what you'll expect to find on that variant, and we did that, and it was brilliant. That's how the app can really help.
Reaching the end of a big walk it's a joyous occasion. It's a celebration. You've contemplated this massive walk and you think, God, will I be able to do that? Is my fitness okay or whatever? And finally, you get to the end of it and you say, wow, I'm an old bastard, but I can actually do these things.
Particularly with the Le Puy Camino that we've just finished last year, where we finished was our starting point for the Camino Frances in 2018. So walking back into that same town, Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, knowing that we'd just finished 750 kilometres of the Le Puy Camino, we were both in tears, weren't we? It was such an emotional experience. It's just such a feeling of elation. Why Raw Travel? I would say, why not Raw Travel? Because they've been great. It's been faultless. Wouldn't hesitate to book them again or to recommend them, and we have recommended them to many friends.
So many people.
So many friends.
I'll never forget that. That's what's different with a walking holiday with Raw Travel. So bring it on. I want to do more. Yeah.